What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again. I'm here with Millsy. We've got a lot to discuss tonight, and we're going to try and cram it in because, well, Millsy, bless him, he's got family things he's got to be sorting out tonight. So we're going to try and make this slick, quick, and fast. Millsy's internet doesn't look like it's fantastic where it is, so bear with us a little bit, guys. Millsy, how are you, first of all, mate?
No, I'm not too bad, mate. I'm currently in Alton Towers. As you can see, the decor behind us. I'm on a little family night at his Splash Landings Hotel in Alton Towers. So not too far from, some may say, your neck of the woods, Michael.
Not really, not really. It's about, I don't know, what, half an hour, 40 minutes for me to Alton Towers.
Okay.
So not too far at all. I feel like we need to just get straight into the breaking news. Looks like James Rodriguez will be leaving Everton Football Club and joining a team in, where is it, Qatar, Dubai. What's your take on
it? Fans like me and fans who wanted to see him will no doubt tonight be looking at this and being really disappointed. I think if you strip that down, if you peel away like an onion, you'd get to the bottom of it. And I don't think we ever will. I think there's so many layers to this. There's so many little things that have happened. You go from James Rodriguez playing 5 pre-season games, including the behind closed doors games. He featured in all 5 pre-season games, to all of a sudden not being part of it. And here we are knocking on October's door, and we finally look to have got rid of him. The club, for me, I've always wanted to get rid of him since Carlo left. I don't see any benefit in keeping someone who was that much of a luxury. Now fans like me, I think we wanted to believe that there was more to James Rodriguez. There was going to be a full ground this season cheering his name. He would be impossible to leave out because of how talented he is. Fans like me thought that it's not happened. He hasn't left yet, but it looks like the fact that he's over in the United UAE, he's negotiating a move. He is that far. For me, it's disappointing now the fact that he is going, but why did he not go to Porto? Because we're looking at a move there for Diaz that would have came in for us if that move happened. Is there more to it? Has something happened between deadline day and now? I don't know. He looked to be so close last week. Comments from Rafa saying that he was training. Comments again on Saturday evening saying we're going to look again for Tuesday to see if we can get him in. He looked that close to playing for us. Maybe this has happened in a whirlwind, and maybe it's a financial windfall for him. I don't know. But for me, Michael, it's ended really, really disappointing. And all I can say is I'm really disappointed in how it's ended. How about you?
Yeah, it's difficult for me. I didn't realise, to be brutally honest, that this transfer window. Look at that, cheeky guinea.
Holiday, aren't we? On holiday, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely. I didn't realise that the transfer window was still open anywhere. I thought they'd all shut. I didn't realise this one was still open. It's disappointing how it's ended. I didn't necessarily expect James Rodriguez to extend his contract. I didn't even expect him to play a lot of games. But it would have been nice for the Everton fans who supported him last season, who backed him. 11 goal assists essentially in 23 games. A lot of Everton fans were excited about having James Rodriguez at the start of this season. Then obviously Carlo leaves and it all goes to the wall, really. But for me, look, it sort of is what it is. I don't know how much, if anything, Everton are getting out of this. I don't know how much of this in terms of his wages are being paid. I don't know the ins and outs of this deal. But if it's financially bad for Everton, and we're sort of, we're just getting off the books to essentially get him off the books, then I'd rather him have played in some capacity, to be honest. His comments were disrespectful. His comments were disrespectful towards Everton. But players have come back from worse. So again, I don't know. It's a sad end to a very bizarre story at Everton Football Club. I would say for James Rodriguez.
Yeah, I mean, with the comments, Michael, I mean, the word disrespectful, and I think it's fair to use that word. But do you think he meant to be disrespectful? I don't think so. I think there's a massive difference in
Yeah.
some players will push the envelope and some players will say things. I don't think he meant to be disrespectful. That comment of he's not too sure who Everton were playing was followed by, wow, we're playing Leeds United. It's a Bielsa side. Let's hope we win. It wasn't just I didn't know who we were playing. He did follow up a little bit, but people have took that from it. I seen a great comment on Twitter today, and I don't know who it was. It was a lad replying to a journalist talking about the money that we're going to save. And the lad's comment was, I can't wait to see £200,000 a week creating chances all over the pitch for Everton Football Club on a match day. And I think that's a really good way of looking at it, because we are, whether or not Rafa would have played him or not in the end, I don't know. But the fact that if he was fit, if he was available, are we that much in a shit make that £200,000 a week is make or break for us? Because if that's the case, then this needs to be a whole new podcast for me. Because if £200,000 a week is going to break Everton Football Club, then Jesus Christ, we are being mismanaged more than me and you know, my friends.
Yeah, and again, I agree, because I think the financial implications of where Everton are, it makes sense why Everton, although I disagree with the whole narrative behind it, if there's a financial reason behind all of this, if there is an issue with financial fair play, I can understand why Everton essentially were terrified of breaking it, because look what's happening to Derby. Yeah. 21 points they're on about being deducted. And although I don't agree with it, because we've seen this, we saw it with the Big Six trying to break away. There was no ramification for those. But yet anyone other than the top six appears to get a decent kick in. Albeit you've got Spurs and Arsenal in the top six when they're not top six clubs. But that's another debate. It does make me laugh. And I think Everton were very stressed about financial fair play this window. And if even now, if at the end of this year, they can say, well, they've saved. I mean, how much money in wages, if you really look at it, have Everton saved for this season? I mean, it's massive amounts of money. You go all the way through James Rodriguez, Besic, Balassi, all of these players were on a wage bill over the last 18 months, and they're all now gone. So I sort of feel like this summer's been a bit of a reset for Everton, and I'm not against it. I'm just gutted that it's taken us probably our most gifted natural footballer to leave the club to help it. It's a shame. Yeah. It's a shame that it's been like this. It really is.
Yeah, it is a shame. And the FFP, I mean, let's not, I mean, again, I've seen some social media comments referring to, 2004 when Wayne Rooney had to leave. I think that's because Wayne Rooney's came out recently on the Tony Bellew podcast, and he's had some sound bites about when he left. And people are comparing that era to this. I think it's very, very different. I think we all know that the owner and the fellow who's behind the owner would happily put more money into the football club. And we're now in a position where they probably mistrusted, I'd say, 2 or 3 people along the way now. And we're in a position now where we're taking stock. And I think it's a very different scenario from, 2004. But again, I go back to my previous comments. We're still in a situation now where we've been mismanaged. And yes, he's mistrusted the wrong people. Some may say Marcel Brands is as guilty as others. I think that's a podcast in itself, Mike. Me and you can maybe get into one time. I think you look at the bringing Sam Allardyce in on an 18-month contract instead of being strong and saying it's 6 with the option of 12 if you finish 6th or higher. Something like that. We've paid a lot of money. We've paid a lot of money sacking Marco Silva. Why was Marco Silva given a 3-year contract when Chelsea give Tuchel 18 months and we're giving Marco Silva 3 years? Who made that call? Who brought in the likes of Klassen? Who brought in Sigurdsson? Was it as simple as Walsh? Was it as simple as Koeman? There's been a lot of mistrust on where we've got here, and I think at some point there has to be accountability. I think we can't just carry on gliding into this new stadium now. And every time we have a bit of bad news, there's a press release on the stadium. I think that's going to wear very thin. I think we're in a situation now with the manager. I still think, despite the fact that we've had a great start, I still think it's a recipe for chaos. If there's a Merseyside derby defeat in our horizon and an away end singing his name, it's going to be toxic. I think there's a lot of things that we're on the knife edge at the minute. We could have a really good season. This could be a really positive reset, like you said there, that you're not against. we could look back and go, good God, good job we've done that. But I think we're also on a knife edge where we could really be
I agree.
in the shit. And there's got to be accountability somewhere. Someone's got to come out. And it goes back to what we said the other week about Marcel Brands not coming out when Edu is at Arsenal. Someone has got to come out somewhere and just give us... And maybe it's the AGM. Maybe the AGM in January is the time. But somewhere there's accountability, and somewhere we deserve answers as fans as to why we are sending the most talented player we've got to the UAE just to balance the books.
Yeah, I think as well, and you, to be fair to you, you've just touched on it, about accountability and, you know, the board. You saw it the weekend. You know, Everton, look, let's make no bones about it. For 10 minutes, Everton got completely outplayed in that game against Aston Villa. And as a result, we fell apart, ended up losing 3-0. The same happened to Burnley against us, literally on Monday night. So it happens in football. It was very disappointing. And when you look at the Everton team that played, no Coleman, who started the season fairly well, to be fair to him. Good. We need him to. We've got no right back. You know, he sticks Ben Godfrey at right back. And every single Everton fan I know knows Ben Godfrey's worst position is right back. He isn't a right back. We saw it when he came into the team. He wasn't a right back. He's a very solid left back, and he's a fantastic centre half. But he is shit at right back, and that I'm not expecting a centre back to be brilliant at playing. I'm not. There's no criticism to Ben Godfrey at all. So I felt like that was wrong, especially when, you know, John Joe Kenny's sitting on the bench, who is a right back. Then we have no Richarlison, we have no Calvert-Lewin. And again, I'm not sitting here and actually criticising Rafa either. Rafa's got a pack of cards that he was dealt, and he hasn't been able to invest heavily in the summer. I can't sit here and blame Rafa Benitez for the squad. I can't even sit here and blame him for the team that played against Villa, and I can't blame him for the way they fell apart. Could he have changed it tactically? I look at his bench and I think, no, his bench was poor. And as you say, it was literally, I've literally read comments on Twitter saying, Rafa Benitez, you know, this is exactly what we've got. We fell apart against the Villa. It's a disappointing result. Blah, blah, blah. We knew this would happen. It's almost like it took people milliseconds to turn on Rafa. It literally took. And for me, I felt quite sorry for him, because he came out, and I felt in his press conference after the game, I felt like he nailed the players. And I feel like we're going to go into that Norwich game and the players are going to know that performance is unacceptable. Whereas under a Carlo Ancelotti, when he's saying to players, just play, it's very difficult to be able to comprehend the difference. But to me, Rafa seems more of a winner than Ancelotti does, because he was so pissed off by that result that I sat back and thought, fair enough. Like, you just take it on the chin. Villa are a very decent side. If Everton do beat Norwich at home, which they will be heavy favourites for, we get 14 points from six games, which is one more point than we had after 6 games last season when we were top of the league. So there isn't a negative. I just think we got brought back down to earth a little bit, and some of the fans took it really badly, in my opinion. I love Everton fans. We're all Everton fans. We all react differently, but some fans I felt went absolutely off the wall when they probably didn't need to just yet.
Yeah, no, I'm like you, Mike. I don't like to call any Evertonian wrong or right. It's a everyone can have their opinions. What I will say though is, and I think even these fans who I'm describing here will agree with this. I think there's a lot of fans who don't want him to be there, and the moment it looks like it's going wrong, they will voice their opinion. And that's fair, because I've been in a situation. I remember Marco Silva. I think Marco Silva lasted a lot longer than he should have. Yeah. And when we kept getting beat, I was vocal. I was saying, look, I told you this guy isn't for it. So I completely understand that people will have that opinion. I don't think Saturday is a cause for great concern. I looked at that side at 4:30 when it came out, And I said, we're going to be in trouble tonight because we've got massive injuries. It's going to be a tough game. And look, Damari Gray had a great chance. We could have 1-0 up there. And then maybe it's down to Rafa to tinker. And if you 1-0 up and he doesn't make the changes and we lose, I can understand a little bit. But he was dealt a really tough hand on Saturday. We were missing Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. For whatever reason, James Rodriguez. We haven't got a number 10 because of the Sigurdsson situation. We can't even do nothing with that. Attacking wise, we were really limited. Add to the fact he had to put a centre half at right back. We had to rely on Alex Iwobi, who for me was probably the real negative on Saturday. I know he started quite well this season. He was back to the Iwobi of running into positions where he shouldn't be running into. And maybe he was told to play a more disciplined role, I don't know, but I can't blame the manager for Saturday's defeat at Aston Villa. I thought we were unlucky not to be 1-0 up. And I think we did. We lost our heads at 1-0. But we've done that to two teams this season. We've done it on the opening game, and we've done it to Burnley. And I'm an Evertonian. I'm a passionate Evertonian. I want this club to be the biggest fucking club in the world. So by no means am I comparing us to Southampton and Burnley. Let's get that right. My point is, it happens in the Premier League. Teams will get turned over. We've seen Manchester City get done 5-2 at home to Leicester last season, and Leicester scores a number of goals in quick succession. Teams can't do that in this league to other teams. We were on the receiving end on Saturday.
West Brom went to Chelsea last season and won 5-2. They got relegated.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is it happens in the Premier League, and look, we sort of move on, but I just think if we get a reaction against Norwich, that's fantastic. But and this is why this video sort of went really well tonight. We've also. So this is sort of a match preview as well. So welcome to the match preview, Milzer.
Okay.
Everton tomorrow take on QPR in the Carabao Cup 4th round. A game that QPR are a very decent side at home, and Everton have got injury issues. It's going to be a tougher game than maybe it would have been 3 weeks ago. It's going to be a very, very tough game at QPR's ground, I must say.
It is, and QPR are no mugs. They're a championship side who are, like I said, no mugs. We're going into that on Tuesday or tomorrow night or today, whenever you watch this video. Again, and I've used this word before, on a knife edge, because the manager, if this manager hadn't managed Liverpool, he would change the team on Tuesday massively, I think, massively. Yeah. But he knows the implications of a championship side beating Everton. He knows what noises will come out of it. I think he's probably, because of Saturday's results, unwillingly maybe got to go stronger than he would have. Now, if we'd have got a draw or a win on Saturday, maybe he tinkers some more. Maybe Anthony Gordon plays. Maybe Tom Davies plays. I don't think he'll rotate too much. I can maybe see John Joe Kenny coming back in.
Yeah.
And I can possibly see Andre Gomez playing. I don't think he'll change too much. And I think in an ideal world for the manager, for Rafa, I think he would have changed it more. I just can't see him doing it. What about you?
I'm going to mention one name, and the one name I felt deserved his opportunity against Aston Villa. So as a result, I feel like he deserves an opportunity. Whether that's a start or not, that's a debate. But Ellis Sims sat on our bench. And Rondon was bought off after 60 minutes and essentially replaced with no striker.
Yeah,
I probably would have given Ellis Sims that half an hour. And okay. I'm not going to say Ellis Sims should start. I'm not necessarily saying that, but this is a kid that banged goals in for Blackpool in their route to the playoff semi-finals in League One, I think it was, or wherever it was. I feel like he deserves minutes. Now, whether it's a start, if he plays 4-4-2, I have no issues playing Rondon and Ellis Sims next to each other. I think that could be decent. Having a midfield of say a Decore and Andre Gomez or a Allen and Andre Gomez, keeping your width with Townsend and Gray. I agree, not loads of changes, but maybe giving someone like Ellis Sims the opportunity to prove a point in positions that, let's be fair, Rondon hasn't played a Premier League game, obviously, before Villa for a long time.
Yeah.
We're not blessed with loads of striking options. Cenk Tossen's now training, but let's be realistic. He's not the
Miles
answer
off.
when on. So giving an opportunity to Sims, I don't think would be a bad shout. And Anthony Gordon, yeah, agreed. Again, whether they start or whether they come off the bench, I would simply just like them to have a few minutes, just to get up half an hour, a half. That would be lovely. But you can only do that if either you trust them from the beginning or Everton are like 2-0 up. And that's going to be the tough ask, because I really do think with the way that QPR are playing, they're playing aggressive football, they play good football, they play high tempo football. They've got two good centre midfielders, they've got a good striker, they've got players in that QPR side that can cause problems. And I don't know whether, as you say as well, I don't know whether he'll chance it.
It's tough, isn't it? Because again, the noises that will come out of Tuesday night if a Championship side beats Everton Football Club under Rafa Benitez, we'll get what we just mentioned there. The fans who are not happy anyway will voice their opinion, and fair play. But you'll also get your fucking talk sports. You'll get your journalists on Twitter. You'll get your Dominic Kings. You'll get your Paul Drake. You'll get them all who will just circle, and we will be the pantomime villains. And he's not soft. The manager is not soft. He knows that's the case. I was quite surprised when we went to Huddersfield that he changed it the way that he did. I thought that was quite brave. I thought that was quite brave of him. But we were in the middle of a couple of wins and a draw. We've just been beat now, and that changes the dynamic not only for the manager, but like I said, the outside who look in and try and make something out of nothing, because papers don't sell themselves. People don't tune into TalkSport because it's all happy-go-lucky. People want things like what will happen if QPR beats Everton on Tuesday. The London press will circle, and like I said, you're spot on, Mike. It's risky for him to do much more than maybe 2 or 3 changes, maybe the Andre Gomez and the Ellis Sims. I even think Ellis Sims will be brave, because I just I've not seen much of him, so I don't know. I think that would be brave. If I seen the team at 7:00 tomorrow night and Sims was in there with a really strong back line behind him, I'd be fine with that. If Sims was in there and there's 4 or 5 others who'd been dropped, then I'd say that manager has got a pair of cojones on him, because it's set up again. It's set up again on Tuesday night for us, because if we win, all of a sudden the Villa one's in the rear end mirror. We go into Saturday where we should be beating Norwich, and everyone's happy again. But Mike, what happens if we lose? So it's a really tough game for the manager. And you know what? I don't envy the position he's in. I really don't.
No, I don't. Let's get into the team. So I'll give you my team, and then if you want to go with whatever you've got. So I'll go Pickford. No, I don't. I don't go Pickford in goal. I'll go Begovic in goal. I'll go Begovic in goal. I'll go left back Ben Godfrey. I think Luca Dean needs a rest. I think he needs one. I'll go Mina and Branthwaite at the back, and I'll go John Joe Kenny at right back. And the reason I go Branthwaite is he has played him in this competition before, so he does trust him to a degree. Midfield, I'll go with Andre Gomez and Takore, alongside Andre, Townsend, and possibly Iwobi, but again, it's a toss-up. And I think he plays Damari Gray and Rondon.
Wow. Okay.
So I'll go 4-4-2, and there's 3 changes in there. Kenny comes in, Branthwaite comes in, and Andre Gomez comes in.
Okay. I'll go with a mix of what I think he'll do and what I'd like him to do. I'd go 4-3-3. The keeper picks himself. It's got to be Begovic. I would go John Joe Kenny. I wouldn't go Lonigan. I absolutely wouldn't. Now that would be fucking brave, my friends. If he puts Lonigan in there, I'll be with them, fucking chanting that Rafa out. I go John Joe Kenny right back. The centre halves, I wouldn't be as brave as to play Branthwaite. I would drop Michael Keane and I would play Mina and Godfrey. I would keep Luca Dean left back, because I agree to an extent that Luca Dean, to bring him out of the side would be beneficial. But I also think if the flip side of that is if he has a really good game on Tuesday, would be beneficial as well.
Plus, we haven't got another left back to stick in like.
Plus, we haven't got another fucking left back to stick in. Three central midfielders. I will go Iwobi as the advanced 10. I will go Allen and Andre Gomez behind. I would start Rondon. I would start Damari Gray, and I would start Andros Townsend. I'd go strong. I just don't think it's time to. I'd love to see Anthony Gordon, and I'd love to see Ella Sims, and I'd love to see them at some point in the game. Now, if we're talking on Thursday and those two players have got 20 minutes, fantastic. We must have gone through in that competition. We must have been cruising at 2 or 3-0 and have been brought on. For me, that's the perfect scenario. Let's go and get that game out of sight. Let's be an hour in and QPR are out of it, and then we can talk about bringing Rondon off. We can talk about bringing Damari Gray off. That for me is what I would do. But what do I know, Michael? I am just a fucking podcast /YouTube.
Let's just get your score prediction then. What's your score prediction for the game?
I do fancy us. I think he'll go strong. Like I said, I will go 3-1 Everton.
Yeah, I go 2-1 Everton, but I think defensively I worry about us. To be honest, these balls into the box, these corners, we're just not very good at dealing with them. So I know they've got a little bit of height in that QPR side, so it's whether we can deal with it. That's what worries me.
Well, that's why. I mean, I've said for a long time my preferred centre half partnership would be Godfrey and Mina, but I don't know how many times I've actually seen it. We never seem to see it, and it could be that they don't complement each other in training. I don't know, but for me, I would love to see Yerry Mina, who's an absolute beast. I'm a huge fan of Yerry Mina. Yes, he's got a little bit of the Joseph Yobos about him.
Yeah.
But I used to fucking love Joseph Yobo. I used to love him anyway. So, and if you put Ben Godfrey next to a beast to develop as well. I think for me, if you put that centre half partnership on there tomorrow, I don't think many strikers are bullying them two or getting much joy in the air of them two.
No. It's interesting that neither of us are mentioned Mason Holgate, and that just all I'm saying is that shows how much he's found down the packing order. Yeah. I must say, he didn't even. I didn't even realise that we hadn't mentioned him. No, it's bad. I mean, it just shows where he is. I mean that is it from me really today. I we've touched on the game, we've touched on the Villa game, we've touched on James Rodriguez. I've got nothing more to add, to be honest. What about yourself? You got a chip in with anything?
No.
When's the next podcast?
The Across the Park podcast is being recorded as we speak. I am actually on annual leave from the podcast. So Judgy and Pricey, if anyone who listens to the podcast, Judgy and Pricey at the Two Blues tonight, they're going to be dissecting the Villa game and looking ahead to QPR and Norwich. But no, Mike, I've had not a bad day. I've been on the Oblivion. I've been around CBBS land. I've had a day off work. I've had a pint of Guinness. My shades are on the head. It's the Mike and Millsy show. I'm living a good life, my friends.
This is the best show on YouTube. Guys, we will leave it there. Millsy, have a lovely rest of your little break, my friend. And hopefully, touch woods, we'll be celebrating going through to the next round of the Carabao Cup come 10 o'clock tomorrow night.
Oh, I love it. In fact, Mike, I have got one question for you. And I think I'm not going to break trust here because you put this on your Twitter. And I think a few people are thinking the same thing here. You said when you hit 10,000 subscribers, you would put a special video out. Where the fuck is this special video? Because the rumour is the Across the Park podcast host voiceovered it. So where is it? Where's my royalties?
It's coming. Okay. It's coming. Okay. I needed more footage. So obviously I'm at the game this weekend for Norwich.
Yes.
I've got the footage. So once I've got the footage, it'll be out. Promise.
Okay. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing it. I've said this in the past, Mike, and I'm not just saying it because we're friends. I've always enjoyed your shows. 10,000 subscribers on YouTube and amazing content. I'm looking forward to seeing 10,000 more and some more content as well.
Well, you just keep doing your shows, mate, and we'll get them no time, I'm telling you.
All over it. All over it.
Guys, we'll see you soon. It's been Mike and Millsy. Peace.